The moon landing, Marc Clair, is in the news again for the first time in 50 years.
Again.
We're going back. Yes, we're going back to the moon. And it's more important than ever, of course, for many reasons. But they tried this week. So the whole plan was Artemis 1 was going to launch earlier this week. It got canceled because they don't have the technology that we had in 1967 to put a rocket to the moon.
Are they supposedly sending humans on this?
The Artemis 1 and Artemis 2 are supposed to be non-passenger flights because we still have to test this technology from the 70s.
Right, because we've never done that before. So,
right.
Yeah.
And then Artemis 3 is supposed to carry some people there. And and then we're going to pull off the greatest achievement in mankind history, which is putting man on the moon. Mark, we've talked about this in the past. You have some thoughts, I believe, on the moon landing. Are you still awake on this moon landing thing?
I think I've become a space extremist, if anything else.
Space terrorist.
Let's see. I'm a space terrorist. I'm about, I would say, as close to 100% you can get on something without ever saying truly 100%, because I always have to leave that 0.000001 that, okay, maybe I'm wrong. I'm as close to 100% as you can get on the moon landing footage that we saw in the 60s is obviously bullshit and does not represent human beings walking on a moon.
Yeah.
I am a little more open to the idea, but not that much, that maybe there are secret moon missions and that's not what we saw in that obviously fake fucking footage with the tinfoil on the thing and people playing golf in this most dangerous environment they could possibly be in. Yeah, no, that didn't happen. What I'm not sure of is space even a place that humans or machines can even get to?
Yeah.
And then what I'm not sure of beyond that is the moon even a physical object? I'm not quite sure. So yeah, I think I'd still
level up.
Am I getting some points here?
Yes.
Now,
achievement
the order
unlocked.
I said those is the order of confidence I have in the questions to the statements. So more likely the moon is a physical place. But if it is, there's sure as fuck is no way you can convince me that footage that we saw, that TV show, is men going to the moon, if any men have ever gone to the moon or could even go to the moon. But as you've talked about many times, and as NASA talks about today, we still got to figure out this, what do they fucking call it?
The Van Allen radiation belts. We got to figure out how to get men through the Van Allen radiation belts.
We still have to figure that out before we can send people out to space. Which I think there was like a video in 2006 where NASA said, well, yeah, we're trying to perfect how we can send humans out. So again,
as though it's new.
How could this be possible? Well, I guess you could believe the story that they lost the code. Have you seen the new one going around when they showed this picture of this girl, like Dorothy, the fucking secretary, and her pile of paper that's taller than her, that is the code? Supposedly this is the code. She typed on paper and stood next to you for a photo, and that code on those pieces of paper made that tinfoil piece of shit fly to the fucking moon and do a Zoom call better than any call, better than the quality
from a
of
landline
this call we've been on today, and I'm plugged hard into the Ethernet right now. So no, I don't believe that at all. That's obviously bullshit. Now, why do they continue all of this? Oh, there are a lot of theories as to why that is. I think probably the more obvious, less conspiratorial one is just money. And NASA was founded by satanic Nazis, so why wouldn't they continue to lie and do satanic Nazi shit?
Nazi fags.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great time.
I didn't say that was Biden. Yeah. So
Joe, calm down.
I definitely agree with you on if there's any conspiracy theory that I can point to and go as close to 100% as possible, this one, yeah. And
I think I'm more sure of that than any one theory about JFK.
Sure.
Maybe JFK was killed by Harvey Oswald. Maybe he wasn't. I'm more sure that the moon was fake than any one individual JFK theory.
Yeah. I mean, just the idea that the United States of America, at a time where we really needed a morale boost, and JFK had said that we were going to put a man on the moon by the end of this 10-year span, and then right at the end of that 10-year span, under Nixon, we sent, I think, 3 to the moon, 3
just
rockets
fake
to the moon.
Thing.
Right.
That's how I picture it going. Sir, we just can't do it. Like 20 people have died in explosions, like getting ready for this. Like, just fucking fake it. Call Kubrick.
He did it. He did it already. I like how your Nixon is very similar to an Alex Jones. they're probably the same amount of credibility. But
Coincidence?
yes. So
what about Alex Jones is Richard Nixon's son, and so is Bill Hicks, and they're brothers,
Oh,
and that
shit.
explains the similarity, but still lets them be separate
they're
people.
twins.
Boom.
They're twins. Anyway, I think there's a lot of
frogs are not gay. The frogs are gay.
Nixon talking about gay frogs. I like it. Gay frogs at Bohemian Grove or something. Now, with this, there's a lot of issues with the official moon landing. And as I was saying, like the fact that, or quote unquote fact that we did it 3 times and then we stopped doing it completely because Americans
or
are
12
known
if
for
you're JB Lubin and you don't know
exactly.
It's a reference to a show that hasn't actually happened yet. Podcast
right.
Time Warp.
That's right. So we did it just a handful of times, just a couple of times, and then we said, not only are we not going to do it again for 50 plus years, we're going to throw away the technology, we're going to throw away the documentation, we're going to throw away all this documentation because their reasoning, because we're not a storage facility, a library, or a museum. That's why they threw away mankind's greatest achievement. Why would we ever need this? Well, I mean, is it not? Would it not be mankind's greatest achievement to?
No, I mean, is that what they say about the reason they don't have it?
Oh yeah,
those are not the rules of this facility.
Yeah, yep. Just too many papers around here to leave these lying around. But the crazy thing about that is, you know who would have loved to have those documents? A library, a museum, like anybody, anybody.
All those things you named, storage facility of some kind.
Yeah, even a storage facility would have taken them. Shit. Not
the whole thing. I mean, the whole moon story. It doesn't add up at all if you just spend 10 minutes not living.
No other country either has bothered.
No,
like we were in the space race, and all the other countries were just like, well, we might as well just give up forever.
There are all these countries with probes and stuff, and I'm skeptical of the probes as well. To be honest, I'm kind of skeptical of all of it. But maybe there's really machines that go up there. I don't know. But why is no one sending humans then?
Right.
If we can do it so fucking easily 50 years ago.
Come on.
You think that the fucking Chinese don't want some fucking... I almost said something racist probably. Don't want one of their guys up there dancing around and putting a flag up, putting a little hammer and sickle up there? Come on.
Yeah.
Or that's the... Do they have a hammer and sickle on the China flag too? I'm just thinking of 80s era Soviet Union for some reason.
I mean, they may as well. Sure.
Whatever.
I'll say yes. Yeah, I don't know. But what's more important than all of that, let's set that all aside and just focus on, the positives of now. Sorry, that's the respect that this deserves. Now we are going to not just put a man back on the moon 50 years later. We're going to put more than that. Much, much more than any man, because we're going to put first woman.
A black lesbian?
Yes. Artemis. This is their own Twitter handle or own Twitter page.
Follow her. That's so sad.
No, I don't. With Artemis at NASA, will land the first woman and first person of color on the moon. Take the next giant leap. That is their only description. This is the blue check page for the Artemis project.
This is NASA Nazis gone woke. That's all this is.
Yep. Yeah, they're very concerned, much more importantly than, why we haven't done this or how to do it or why we can't get this rocket off the ground. Because, again, they failed earlier this week. They're probably going to fail again Saturday, or they'll figure out some sort of way to do it.
Hashtag space bubbles.
Space what?
Space bubbles.
Space bubbles. Yeah.
You know about hashtag space bubbles, right?
Oh, yes, of course. I thought you said space balls. I know about that, too. But
space balls are more real than space bubbles or something.
Something. We're going to put black ladies on the moon. All right, let's watch this, and then we'll wrap this up. Of course, it won't play, so we'll probably get to watch an ad here.
Let's do live commentary on this ad.
U.S. Cellular. Check out this bag. Oh, wow, that's a nice bag. Good bag.
Hey, you can get free phones.
Oh, shit, look at these
woman
pictures.
Of color? It helps.
Look at it. New current customers. Any phone, any brand, free.
Free folk phones.
U.S. Cellular. All right, here's the thing. Thank you.
In educating us about science and math, Channel 9's Alexa Lorenzo explains this mission is also sending an important message about diversity and inclusion.
Artemis 1 leads to Artemis 2, which leads to Artemis 3 when we hope to have humans on the surface of the moon.
At this point, we don't know who will take those fateful steps. Right now, there are 42 active
It's like
astronauts.
it's like a Biden statement. We don't know who it's going to be, but we do know it's going to be a woman of color. It's like,
We don't know who's the most qualified yet. We just know that they're a black lesbian.
all right.
10 candidates. Reed Wiseman is the chief astronaut at NASA Johnson, and he knows whomever walks on the moon's surface will bring the hopes and dreams of the next generation, looking to follow in their footsteps with them.
When I think about Apollo, I think about every kid that watched that landing and wanted to work in mission control, that wanted to be an astronaut, that wanted to be a doctor, that wanted to be a school teacher. Like the impact.
Wait.
And then they get
Doctors
there
and
and
school
you're like,
teachers?
all right, jump in this pool. You're like, I thought we were doing space. Like, yeah, we start in the pool.
Welcome to
Jump
NASA.
in
You
the
could be a
pool.
doctor and a school teacher. What do these things have to do with each other? I'm confused as to your list, sir. But yes, get in. Take it off and get in the pool, kids. You can be an astronaut now.
Impact of what Apollo did was not putting Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the moon. It was changing the way we look at STEM completely.
And NASA leaders say it's time for young women to see themselves represented in Artemis.
This mission to me, professionally, I'm very excited and proud, but I also personally, I have 3 kids, 2 of which are daughters. And so when I talk to them about, we're going to send a woman to the moon, they came to understand, but there hasn't been one. Like, it's like, so they grow up in an environment where things are just so much
Right?
more diverse and inclusive.
Now, the point that she's missing there is that not only has a woman not gone to the moon by now, but nobody else since the first dudes went. Like, it's not like they make it sound like, I can't believe
People
a woman
are
hasn't
going all
gone.
the time. All
Right.
these white dudes are always going to the moon every fucking week. Rich white men just living it up.
Yeah.
Having margaritas on the moon. No, none of this has been happening.
Right. It's like back then there were a couple of guys that went, and then we stopped going completely. It's not like we've been going this entire time,
Like,
and
this
we've
is
just
a
been
resounding
excluding
success. Let's never do it again.
you. Right.
So absolutely, to me, from a professional, but also from a very personal standpoint, I think it's a huge, huge deal that we've made this a very big focus of this mission for both women and people of color.
We want every kid in America to look at our poster and say, oh, I see myself in that. I grew up poor, or I grew up in this
They have
state.
to wear
or
masks
I grew
in
up with this
space?
type of
Yeah, they're afraid of COVID. But once they're on the shuttle, I'm sure there's great ventilation, and
I can't wait for the video of this woke, like, black lesbian going to space, and they're gonna zoom in on her face, and you're gonna see the mask underneath the space mask. Can't wait.
just to be safe.
family.
If it saves one life,
I can do that someday, and it's really important for all of us to stand together as we go and do this.
Alexa Lorenzo.
It's
Channel
almost like
9.
they're like, please don't pay too close attention on the fact that we are just now going back to the moon because we're doing something new and exciting, which is going to the moon isn't new and exciting.
Hey, guess what? 50 years have gone by. We're going back to the moon, everybody. Remember, you've been waiting for this. But that's the thing. I mean, this came out kind of like, even JB on the podcast that hasn't even aired yet, he was like, what? They went like 12 times. I mean, like, no, that never happened. Not even anywhere close to that. But I think in the conscious of the public, however they do this propaganda, it's effective enough that most people think we just go to the moon like all the time. Like,
Right.
This is what we're going back and forth. Or it's going.
Why wouldn't
they're
we?
grabbing stuff. They're digging things. They're putting down plans. They're playing golf. Like, no, this is not. They don't even say that's been happening. That's,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
if they said it was happening, I'd be skeptical. But they don't even say it's been happening.
And the biggest pushback I've gotten to that is always like, well, why would they send them back up? Once we're there, like, there's nothing there. There's no reason to go back. It's like, yes, because science never like runs anything into the ground or, takes taxpayer dollars and just plays with it for fun. I mean, the shit that NASA is doing on the ground, a lot of that's probably pretty worthless too. So I'm not buying it. Anyway.
It's the highway to nowhere. If we accept that, we can accept moon rockets to nowhere.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? You got any predictions for Saturday? Their second attempt at sending this up?
So there's this, and then there's supposed to be another, and if those go well, they're going to put people on them.
Well, I think there's still an Artemis 1. Artemis 1 was supposed to launch on like Monday or Tuesday, and it failed, and they're going to try Artemis 1 again. After Artemis 1 goes, if that's a success, they're going to do Artemis 2.
You want a
Artemis
prediction?
3 is going to have lesbians.
I'll give you a prediction. We get to the one with the lesbians, and they blow it up. Challenger over again. And that's why we have to further fund the space program, because we were so close to getting that fucking lesbian in space, and then the whole thing blew up. We're at a tragedy. We got the family members on TV. We got people crying. We'll show pictures of her that'll look strangely like pictures of the same person from an explosion 10 years ago. We'll all move on.
Yeah, that was actually my prediction, like, I don't know, 2 years ago or something, when they first started talking about sending people back up. I was like, they're going to try it, or they're going to pretend to try it. They're going to blow them up, and then they're going to set us back. Like, that just takes the whole...
They're going to be, this is too risky. That's why
Right.
we haven't gone for the last 50 years.
Yeah, it takes the whole, why aren't we doing this narrative off the table, because this is why it's too dangerous. We've never done it before. It's crazy.
Anyway, let's go to Mars.
I'll make questionable decisions.